first? No. Square root both sides. 7x plus 3 is equal to plus or minus what? 5. So what does that mean? It means that 7x plus 3 is equal to plus or minus 5 minus 3, right? So, oh, I got to actually take away the 3. So what does 7x equal? Plus or minus 5 minus 3 all over, I don't know why I'm writing that 7 again, over 7. Now how many answers is that? 2. So there are 2 answers. First there's negative 5 minus 3 over 7, and then there's 5 minus 3 over 7. So that's going to be negative what? 8 over 7 and 2 over 7. There are 2 answers. Question, 2 things. What's one thing they tell you about this walkway? What is it? No. What do they tell you about the walkway? It's x. What do you mean it's x? Uniform width. So what did we want to call that? X. So we know that from here to here, this is all the same, right? X, x, and x. It tells you something else about it? What else does it tell you about it? Yes, its uniform width and area of it is 152 feet squared. So far I've done no math. All I've done is summarize what it's telling you. What else does it tell you about, Jacob? Jacob, what else does it tell you about? Yeah, it tells you the area of the pool is what? Well, it's 2. It doesn't tell you the area directly. What does it tell you? It tells you it's 10 by like this, right? So what's the area of the pool? Oh, it's not 20. It's 24, not that. Like this, right? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Like this. It's 240, and I did it again. So the area is 240. So it asks you, what should the width of the walkway be so that the area of the walkway is 152. It's up on the board. So you have to write an equation in terms of x for the area of the walkway. Anybody want to start me off? How do I do that? Okay. Length times width of what, Lauren? Of the walk of the whole thing. The whole thing. So this and this. So what if we call this length and this width right there? Can you tell me what L equals? What does L equal?
24 plus 2x.
24 plus 2x. And can you tell me what W equals right there, Lauren?
W.
Nope.
I mean 10 plus
2x, right? So what's the area of the whole thing? The whole area. Not just the walkway, but it's the walkway and the pool. The whole area is what? I can't hear you.
24 plus 2x.
Yep, times plus 2x. But is that what we have the area of? No, we have the area of just the. What do we have to take away from the whole area? Nope. Minus 240. We know that the whole area minus the area of the pool, what does that equal? Area of walkway. Does that make sense, everybody? You have the big thing, you take away the center, what's the only thing that's left? The walkway. So what's the area of the hole? 24, no, the area of the hole is this one, we just wrote it here. What's the area of the pool? 240. And do we know what the actual area of the walkway is supposed to be? 152. So, is that a quadratic? Yes, it is a quadratic. It's not in standard form. Put it in standard form for me. Do that right now. That is actually correct. Now, what could you do before you try to solve it? What should you do before you solve that? What? You would take out 4, which you could just divide by 4 because you're solving for zeros. So if you divide 240, that is positive 240, and positive 240 minus it goes away. When you divide by 4, you end up with x squared plus what? Minus 38. And you look at that and you always ask yourself, what should you try to do? Factor. And is this factorable? Figure it out, right? X equals negative 19 or x equals 2. Which one's the answer? Why 2? Yeah, it can't have a negative length. So it's 2. Nice. What's the best way to attack this? What should I do first? Multiply by what? X squared, yeah. So you end up with 3x squared minus 16x minus 12 is equal to 0. Is that a quadratic? Yes. The question now is, can you factor it? What do you think? I know you don't. What number do you not like seeing up there? You don't like seeing the 3, but that should not be a showstopper because at least 3 is smaller, right? It's 3x and x, so at least try to factor it. I mean, the thing is, if you use the quadratic on this, are you going to get some big numbers that you have to work with? Yeah, 16 squared minus 4 times 4, 3 times 12. Try to factor this. So can you? What do you think? Well, these two numbers have to multiply together to get what? Minus 12. So let's just start guessing. What's our first guess? What do you think? Minus what?
6.
Minus 6. So if that's minus 6, what's this? Does that actually work? Let's try. You end up with 3x squared minus 18x plus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Does that work?
Yeah.
It does work. So therefore, there's two possible ways to do this, two possible answers. 3x plus 2 is equal to 0, or what? So x equals 6, or 3x equals negative 2, x equals negative 2/3, like that. Good? Now, I understand be asked to complete the square, so let's make one where it's a little bit challenging. So let's say it's negative 2x squared plus 6x, plus 9. Well, let's make it even, just to make it life easier. Plus, let's say, I don't know, 10 equals 0. So first of all, is it in standard form? Yes. But do you remember the first thing you had to do when you completed the square, Katie?
Wait, first did you divide the whole thing by -2?
Absolutely. You really want it to be positive and 1. Okay? So you turn it into x squared minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
The next thing you do you remember what you do next? Anybody remember? Alyssa. Add 5, exactly. X squared minus 3x equals 5. But then what do you have to do? Someone tell me the next step. Kelly. What?
3 halves squared.
Add 3 over 2 squared, correct? Now, don't simplify at this point, because if you simplify, you get back to where you started. The whole point of doing this is this step right here. What does this factor into? Do you remember?
X plus 3 halves.
Close. It's actually going to be minus here, by the way. It's minus on the inside of this. So what is it going to be? X minus 3 halves squared? Because if you don't put negative there, you're not going to get that negative sign. So then what do you do on the right-hand side? Yeah, you have to do it out.
It's negative.
No, it's not, because you square it, it becomes positive, right? You're adding it to both sides, but you're squaring a negative, so it's going to be positive. So let's clean this up. How many quarters are in 5? 20. So it's going to be 29 over 4 right here. So then you now have x minus 3 over 2 squared is equal to 29 over 4. You have a square, so what do you do to both sides? So if you square root both sides, what are you left with on the other side? But that's only what's on the front?
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus. When you take a square root, what do you have to put in front? Plus or minus. Now what do I add to both sides?
3 halves.
Add 3 halves. So yeah. So this is plus or minus root 29 over, what's the square root of 4? 2. So can you combine this? Sure. It's 3 plus or minus root over 2. You could write it like this. Now, can you simplify that at all? No. Why not? Why can't you simplify that? Yeah, the 29, it's a showstopper. 29 is actually what type of number? It's prime. You can't, there's no square factors because there are no factors other than itself in 1.